Hey, welcome to Riverside. I just wanted to hop on here today and really give just a quick update as far as the future of Riverside goes. Um, Look, Riverside started off really as a place where I could post pictures of fish that I catch and a Bible verse here and there. That's really what it started as. I was always hopeful that it would grow into something bigger than that, but I didn't expect it. But here we are, and it's grown into something that I'm really passionate about. It's grown into something that I really love to do, and I really have been enjoying this process of growing Riverside. Um, and so I guess I'll tell you where Riverside is going. Listen, I've always wanted like a podcast or like a show where whoever you are, like the viewer, whoever's watching this could tune in each week. We could talk about cultural topics, political topics, scripture. We could talk about issues within the church. We could talk about whatever it might be from a biblical lens. I've always wanted to do that. It's always sounded fun to me and interesting. But I'll be honest with you, I never thought it would come to fruition. But here we are. And I've worked really hard to build this studio. This used to be an old closet. And so I've cleaned it all out. I built this studio behind me. I got this table, this really nice table. It's like a handmade table from a guy named Ethan who I know. There's a ton of camera equipment back there, sound equipment, lighting equipment, all that stuff. And I'm finally to the point where where that dream of being able to have that show or podcast is finally coming to fruition. It's taken a long time to get here. It's taken a long time and a lot of work and thought and effort just to get to this point. But here we are. And so here's what I want to do. I thought about what kind of videos I want to make. Like, I toyed around with the kind of content I want to create and kind of been playing around with what is most glorifying to God, really. I think there's a need in our world for clarity on cultural topics and clarity on how to be a Christian in today's society. And so I thought about making videos like that for a long time. But recently, I've been praying about it and thinking about it, and I've come to the conclusion that I don't want myself to come in the way of what God is trying to tell you through Scripture. And I'm not saying that I'll never touch on those topics. I'm not saying that that's completely off the table, because it's not, but that's on the back burner. What I want to do first is go through the Gospels. I thought about starting in Genesis and just like trying to push through the entire Bible. But I think I want to start. I thought about it. I want to start in Matthew, in the Gospels. And listen, I got this book. It's called A Harmony of the Gospels. It's by Robert Thomas and Stanley Gundry. And what's interesting about this book, it's not it doesn't have commentary or anything like that. Really, all it is it lays out all the Gospels side by side. And because of that, you're able to compare directly. Oh, here's the story of this miracle in Mark. Oh, here it is in Luke. Here it is in John. And you can kind of compare and contrast side by side. And that's what's interesting about this book. So we're going to use this book in Scripture to go through the Gospels. And listen, we're just going to read it. We're just going to talk about it and examine it and see what the Scriptures tell us. And that's about as good as I can get. And let me explain it this way. For years in youth ministry, I've always made lessons that were like, we're going to do a lesson series on this topic. We're going to do a lesson series on this topic, whatever it might be, dating, discipleship, honoring your parents, whatever it might be, right? And over the last few months, over the last half year probably, I've really gotten into, when I teach, we just open the Bible to wherever we happen to be in Scripture, and we just read it and talk about it. And those have been the most impactful lessons that I've ever taught. Because, look, I believe that every issue that we could possibly face as humans is answered within the Scriptures. And so that's how I want to tackle Riverside. It's always difficult to come up with content. We're just going to study Scripture. Maybe someday we'll get into the cultural, political topics. Maybe someday we'll get into all of that. But right now we're just going to study Scripture. My prayer is that you tag along and that you tune in each week and that you participate and that you comment on the videos and, hey, here's my thoughts on this passage, or like I was thinking about it the other day, and this is, God revealed this to me, or this is like a thought, whatever it might be. I want to build a community of people who love God and are just thirsty for the Scriptures. So if that's you, please tag along. Please. I'm making weekly videos. We're going to probably start here in 2 weeks, but I'm making weekly videos, and that's all I want to do. I'm sure there are shows like that out there. Actually, the closest one that I can think of is Unashamed with Phil Robertson and Jace Robertson and Al Robertson and all those guys, which I love that show, but it's the closest thing I can think of. But if you're interested in that, in Scriptures, and you just have a thirst to know more about God, follow along and join me. I'd be blessed to have you. And that's the future of Riverside. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know when it's going to stop. I don't know if it'll stop, but that's where it's going. I hope you tune in. I'll tell you what, stay tuned on Instagram and on Facebook to see when this video series starts. And we'll be starting soon, right there at the beginning of the Gospels, right there at the beginning of Jesus' life. So that's all I got. I just wanted to hop on here and give you that update, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.